we have a wonderful presenter with us this evening. Sean from NEEF is going to take you guys through an excellent presentation and sort of introduce you to all the finer points of applying to college. It's a little scary, it's a little overwhelming, but just know we're here to walk you guys through all of the steps. So whether it is tonight if you have questions, or as you go home and start thinking about the presentation tonight, and you as your students or you as parents, any particular questions that might come to mind afterward, please feel free to reach out to your student school counselors, and we're always happy to help answer questions for the rest of the school year and into next year as well, when we really get to dive into this process. So I'm going to let Sean take things over from here, but we'll be answering some questions at the end of the presentation as well. Thank you guys so much.
All right, hello everyone. As Denise said, my name is Sean. I work with the NEEF network. Stands for New Hampshire Higher Education Assistance Foundation. Basically what it means is we are here to help you with the college process, college application, financial aid forms, you know, if you're a college athlete, what that may look like. I feel like I'm getting some fuzzy in there, so I'm just trying to move around. Okay, we're really a resource, a free resource to you. We're here to help you, help guidance counselors when it comes to the needs of their students. So, little backstory on me, so you kind of know my experience. I have worked in college athletics. I've worked in college financial aid as well as college admission. I moved over to NEEF about 2 years ago. Because I really care about the education piece, right? Making sure that you understand what's going on prior to really diving into the college application process, because there's so many different options out there, so many pieces that are involved, and some of those things we'll go over today. As Denise said, if you have some questions, we'll hit them at the end. If it's something specific to a slide, please just throw up your hand, say, hey, Sean, and we'll kind of go over them as we go. Okay? As I mentioned, NEEF, we are a free resource for you all to use, okay? We offer night presentations like this. We offer statewide webinars. We offer signature events. And we offer one-on-one services. So if you say, wow, the FAFSA really scares me, come see me, okay? If you don't know, you want somebody to look at your college essay, you know, outside of the school, come see us. You get your financial aid offers once you get accepted. You get 5 of them. They're all a little bit different. You don't know what they mean. Come see us. We'll break it down with you. We're just trying to alleviate any additional stress when it comes to the college process. Okay? So we're just going to jump right in to kind of talk about the college search. Is everybody here juniors, going to be seniors next year? Anybody interested in being an athlete? Anybody interested in doing performance, you know, drama, theater, anything like that? Okay. Anybody interested in, I'm trying to think of what else. Additions. Anybody looking to be an art student? Maybe going to an art school? Okay. Just kind of pulling the room, seeing what we're going with so I can focus in. But a lot of things. Has anyone been on a college campus before? No one? Okay. Has anyone no one's visited a school yet? Has anybody been to SNU Arena? Okay, technically you've been on a college campus, right? Things you don't know. You don't realize that you go through, you're going to a concert, you're going to SNU Arena, it's part of Southern New Hampshire University. The college search, we're just going to jump into a lot of things to keep in mind, right? Haven't visited campuses yet. What are things to keep in mind when trying to narrow down your list? Does anyone here have a list started? Awesome, okay? A sport parent, I love that. I love to see you're on top of it. Okay, what are we looking for, right? Location. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be in New England? Do you want to stay in New Hampshire? Do you want to go to the West Coast because you spent your entire life on the East Coast? Do you want to be in a rural setting like Goffstown? Do you want to be in a big city like New York? These are the types of things you want to keep in mind, but with all of these different options, right? So many different schools to choose from. What about the location? Pros and cons, right? You want to be in a city, pros of a city. There's so much to do. So many internship opportunities, right? If you're going to be an art student, you have exhibits you can go to every weekend. You can go and find an art gallery on a weekend, okay? You want to be a business major. Maybe you have better opportunities to work with professional teams. I just saw recently that Suffolk University down in Boston partnered with the Boston Celtics. So if you do your grad work at Suffolk, you have an opportunity of interning with the Boston Celtics. Huge, right? Examples, Sacred Heart down in Connecticut has an awesome sports broadcasting major. They partner with ESPN. Those are the types of things that students look for, and a lot of them are because of location, because you're in a city. Maybe you're more of a rural kid. Maybe you want to go skiing on weekends. Maybe you want to stay on campus and be with that community. Maybe a rural setting's better for you, okay? If we're looking at a city aspect when it comes to location, a few things to keep in mind. One, what's the housing situation look like? I mentioned Suffolk earlier. It's a great business school. They only offer 2 years on campus of housing. Okay, the remaining 2 years, you would have to find an apartment, live off campus. What does that cost look like to you? Okay, typically in a city, it's higher cost of living. And keep in mind transportation. Are you going to be able to have a car in the city? Are you going to be able to have a car on the campus? Are you going to have to take the T? Do you feel comfortable taking the T at night? Do you feel comfortable getting into an Uber at night after working a presentation with a group of your classmates? Those things to keep in mind. Same thing with the rural setting. Rural setting is going to offer you a lot of times 4 years on campus, right? So you can live on campus all 4 years, or allow you to live off campus. That's your choice. Lower cost of living, right? Less to do, right? If you're an outdoorsy person, maybe that's what you want, where you can go hiking, you can go fishing, you can go skiing, okay? We want to keep that location in mind. Size. How big of a school do you want? Okay, do you want to go to the University of Connecticut, which is in Storrs, Connecticut, which is basically the University of Connecticut, right? Nothing else in that town is really outside of the university itself, okay? Or do you want to go to a Colby Sawyer College, small private liberal arts school in New Hampshire, okay? Or do you want to go somewhere in between, right? You don't want to be a number, right? You don't want to sit in a lecture hall with 500 of your classmates, okay? You don't want to sit in a classroom of 15 students at Colby Sawyer. There's always a happy medium, right? UNH is a happy medium. Maybe like a Marist is a happy medium. It's all dependent on how you learn, right? So if you are a great learner on your own, you put the work in, you're a go-getter, you're determined to be the best student you can be, maybe going to a big school is for you. Maybe that is destined to be your college. But some people, like for me, I went to a small private liberal arts school. I wanted that. I needed the small classroom sizes because I wanted to be able to talk to my professors every day. I wanted to be able to go to them with help. You're not going to get a lot of that at a bigger school, okay? You're going to be relying on yourself, maybe relying on your classmates, maybe relying on email to talk to your professor, maybe talking to a TA of that class, a teacher's assistant, okay? What my recommendation is if you're unsure of how big you want, go visit one of each, right? Visit a really big school, visit a middle-sized school, visit a smaller school, okay? To me, I think it's very important to visit because I think it really helps. I think you feel it. You know, when you get on a campus, I've gone to a couple of campuses when I was looking at schools, and I was like, nope, we can turn around right now, just by driving on, okay? And then those other ones you get in, you get a little bit more immersed in what the tour guides are saying, and you feel it a little bit more. Okay, student body. Do you want to go to an all-girls school? Do you want to go to an all-men's school? What's the breakdown of male to female ratio? Do you want to go to a school that has a lot of international students? Do you want to go to a school that has a diverse population? A lot of these things, when it comes to student body, also deals with size, right? I think you're going to see a much more diverse population at a university in a city compared to a rural setting, okay? And it's all about what you want. There's going to be a theme here, and it's going to be everybody is a little bit different, right? You have to look out for you and what's best for you. What's best for me is not best for you, not best for you. So you want to make sure you're taking all of these things and using them in your college search. Academic opportunities. So for this is kind of like internships that I was mentioning. We'll stick on with the schools that I've mentioned. University of Connecticut, it's a research school. Okay, so a lot of the professors that work there do their own research. They bring students in. That's a great academic opportunity. There are some smaller schools in New Hampshire that offer a lot of biology research. So you can do summer work, get paid for it, build your resume, and really get immersed into your major. Kind of mentioned all of those internships, right? The internships with ESPN, the internships with the Boston Celtics. What kind of opportunities do students have when getting into their field, right? I also think that when it comes to academic opportunities, you keep in mind what you want to major in, okay? I'll give you an example with education, okay? If you want to be a teacher, right, that is where you want to go. When do they offer in-classroom time? Do you have to wait till you're a junior? Do they allow you into the classroom as a freshman? This seems maybe like a silly thing to say, but maybe you take those first 2 years of classes, you get into a classroom and realize maybe that's not for you, okay? What types of programs and opportunities are available to you freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, so that you are progressing and understanding, okay, yeah, I really want to do this, and I can see myself continuing. Sometimes they just do hours in a classroom freshman year. You know, ask what those types of things are, because you want to make sure that you're growing and you're understanding your major throughout. A lot of schools will make you declare junior year, so make sure you're taking a lot of those electives, you know, freshman, sophomore year, so you're kind of, you know, dipping your toe in, making sure that you enjoy it. The other thing I will say for academic opportunities is if you see yourself wanting to get more of a degree after a bachelor's degree, okay? Let's say you decide, okay, I want to go to a community college for 2 years, okay? Save some money, maybe work while you're going to school, finish your degree out at a 4-year institution, right? Are you going to go to get your master's after? What types of programs do schools have? A lot of times you'll see a 3-2, so you'll do 3 years of your undergrad work, 2 years of graduate work, and in 5 years you'll graduate with your bachelor's and your master's degree, okay? Is that something you want? Maybe you're going pre-med, pre-law. Are you going to do that? Are there any affiliations with med schools, law schools? Those are the types of things to look into if you know what you're majoring in, right? Where can you go and how much you're going to continue on with your education once you get that bachelor's. Academic services. So maybe you have a 504 IEP. What kind of services are available to you if you need that additional support? Do they have a writing center? Do they have a tutoring center? Do they have a career services office? Okay. Do they have a writing center? Do they help you with these types of things? Are these services free? I know places that have, you know, writing labs, tutoring for free, but then offer a mentoring program, which is more of a one-on-one with a mentor. That costs money. Some schools do it all for free. Some schools make you pay for all of it. Those are the types of things. I've worked at Division III institutions, so smaller private liberal arts schools, okay? They offer free tutoring, but you have to pay for mentoring because it is a one-on-one service where you meet with them, 3, 4, 5 times a week, okay? You don't have to take them, but it's nice to have that option. Just like if you're an athlete, are they going to require study hall, right? Do you need to go and sit in a study hall for an hour or 2 each week? Is that going to help you? For me, being an athlete, I was very much more structured when I was in season. I knew I had to go to practice, I knew I had to do my homework, I had to go to class, and I had to make that in my day, right? Same thing with those that may not be playing a sport. How are you going to offset your day, right? Right now, you may go to school from, 8 to 2. There may be days you don't have classes. So you want to make sure that you're balancing out your schedule and you're doing what you need to do and fitting in things that may help you to do that. Cost. I'm a big financial aid nut, which makes me a little weird, but that's fine. I think cost is extremely important, right? You want to make sure that you are being academically and financially smart when you go to pick a college of your choice, right? Is the return on investment, right? Is the value of the school worth that student debt you may have once you graduate. Maybe you get a really good deal on a financial aid offer that you weren't expecting. But I do think cost comes in. We'll talk about cost a little bit more towards the middle of the presentation, but I do think that this is a very important step. It's something that should be taken into consideration. Outcomes. So this would be like how many students return for their sophomore year. What's that retention rate look like? Do they do a great job selling the school and then the students transfer out? Or is it a school where students go, they love it, they come, they stay for 4 years, they're on campus? What's the graduation rate look like? And when I say graduation rate, I mean more of where are you going once you graduate? Where did the students go? Did the students go on to grad school? Did the students get a job in their field? Typically, schools will have this information. It's usually based on 6 months after you graduate. But I think that the outcomes is important, right? What is the school doing to help you start your career, okay? Majors, kind of self-explanatory, right? What do you want to major in? Maybe you don't know. Maybe come senior year you don't know, and you go in undeclared. That's okay. With majors, the thing to keep in mind is don't be afraid to ask questions, and that's kind of going to be my theme throughout is don't be afraid to ask questions. I always give the example of I worked with a student who came to me and said, I want to major in criminal justice and minor in photography. Seems like two really random things. But he wanted to use his love of photography to become a crime scene analyst. That's why he was majoring in CJ. So don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, if you say, okay, well, I'm going to go in and be a teacher, but I really want to coach, is that possible, right? A lot of times you'll see teachers that are coaching in schools, right? Maybe you want to do criminal justice and psychology. Are you allowed to dual major, okay? Maybe you want to do psychology and do a minor in business because eventually one day, you know, when you're done with your schooling, you want to open up your own practice. Whatever the case may be, don't be afraid to ask these types of questions to the admission counselors. That's why they're there, to answer any questions, to see if it's possible if you want to attend that school. Okay? And then activities, right? You're going to be spending 2 years, 4 years, maybe more years at the school of your choice. What is there to do? You know, how can you get involved? You're involved in clubs and organizations now. What can you do? Are you going to be an athlete? Do the kids on campus go to sporting events? You know, is it a college town, right? Are you going to sporting events each weekend? Is that what people are doing? Are people going to plays? Are people going to into the city? Are people staying on campus? Those are the types of things that ask more so I'd say your tour guide, you know, if it's a student, but you can ask these questions of admission. They'll be able to answer all of these for you. All right, and then campus culture. I kind of just touched on a couple of them. Do students, you know, I think the term suitcase school you can hear. Suitcase means, you know, come to class, they're living on campus, but they go home every weekend to see their families or see their friends at home. You know, are students staying and doing things on campus? Does the school put on events, bring in speakers, have functions on campus? You know, one of the things for campus culture that I'll mention is New England College, not too far away. They bring in every single presidential candidate every year. When that's all going on, that's when they bring them in. But they have that culture. They are known for that, right? It's all student ran, so the students are the ones getting involved. They're political science majors. They're all putting that on, okay? They have speakers that come to campus. Different sporting events. Are you allowed to start clubs and organizations on campus? These are the types of things when it comes to campus culture. And a lot of this you can learn on tours by talking to the tour guides or even just seeing what the college does at, you know, where students are on campus. Usually they have a lot of things in the, you know, student center. Most schools have one. So a lot of really good things to keep in mind, okay? Okay, things to ask yourself. Why do you want to go to college? Do you want to go to college because everyone else is going to college, or do you want to go to college because you want to further your education, learn something new, get into a field that you really love. What are the 3 most important experiences you want to have, right? So for me, just examples, I wanted out in New York. Born and raised in New York, I didn't want to be there anymore, okay? I really wanted to be at a small school, and I really wanted to play basketball. I achieved all 3, but those were important. And for all 3 of those, they were non-negotiable, okay? I think another thing to keep in mind is, do you want to be around people that you're around now? I always joked with my classmates when I was in high school, SUNY Cortland was our school away from our hometown. Everybody went to SUNY Cortland. I didn't want to go to school with people I just went to school with. I wanted to get away. I wanted to see something new. I wanted to experience something new. Who do I want to learn with and from? I think this also goes back to class size or size of the school, right? Do you want to learn from your professors and have a good relationship with them where you can go, you have their phone number, you can text them if you need something, you can email them and know you're going to get a response back in an hour? Or do you want to learn from your classmates? Do you want to learn from yourself? You want to learn from the experiences that you're making for yourself? Keep asking yourself these questions as you're going through this process, because I think it will help not only with the college search, but I think it would also help with your college essay, right? Seeing what is out there for you. It's all about you. Okay? Do your research. What do you use Naviance, Score? Big Future. Nice. Okay. Everybody's a little bit different, use a little bit different, but she mentioned Big Future. It's a College Board account, okay, that you should all have access to. You can go in and choose where you want to be, right? If you know the state you want to be in, the region you want to be in, you know your major, you know the size of the school you want, the diversity of the school. You can go in and you can put all of these things down. If you want to play a sport, you can put all of these things down, and it's going to show you the schools that are out there and available to you. It allows you to do a lot of really good research. The other thing when it comes to research, right, COVID happened. I think a really good thing that came out of COVID is that a lot of schools, majority of schools, really beefed up their virtual tours. Okay, so you can do a lot of really good research and really see what a school has to offer before you even go and visit it. Okay, Peterson's is also another search engine that you can use to see what colleges could be for you. Okay, and you want to make sure that, I want to maybe talk about the process when they meet with you from junior year to senior year, just so that, kind of talking about when they should be meeting or what's important. Yeah. It's a little bit different for every school, so why not?
All right, so in terms of what your students are doing right now is we are right in the thick of meeting with all of the juniors, or incoming seniors as we're calling you, now. Like, we are in the thick of it. We just finished our first 4 days, and we have tomorrow and then all of next week wrapping them up. I see a few of my kiddos out there that I've had the pleasure to meet with. So that's part of the process, is we actually meet with students every single year to go over our future planning options. So right now, that is what we are in the thick of with your students right now. We also will give time at the end of the year to go through scheduling to make sure that their senior schedules are set up as the best as we can before we leave for the school year. Then coming back in the fall, we do a lot of work with seniors right out of the gate. We start going into classrooms in September, giving presentations, and then we are meeting with students individually and in small groups. And then we also do an I Am College Bound Day, where we help students navigate through their college process with free applications, opportunities for scholarships. So we do a tremendous amount, or we try to do a tremendous amount, to really help your students through the process every step of the way. We partner with NEEF multiple times throughout the year. And we'll be doing a little bit more of that with some new things that are coming up, with things that the state wants students to be doing to be ready for college. So we do a tremendous amount. If you feel like you would like to come in and meet as a family versus just us with your student, we are always happy to have parents come in to sit and ask your questions, because I don't know about you guys, but I applied to college a long time ago. My daughter's only 10, but I'm so thankful I'm going to know this information when it's time. Otherwise, I think I'd be living at my school counselor's office door, trying to ask all the questions that I could. So we are always open to having you guys come in and meet with us as well, or email us if you just have a few quick questions. We try really hard to get back to people within a day or two. So yeah, we take them through pretty much everything from credits to college searches. If college is one option and maybe they're thinking of 2 or 3 things, we try to explore a variety of opportunities with them because life happens, and so you need to kind of be prepared for whatever's coming down the road. So our doors are always open, so please feel free to reach out if you have your own questions or concerns, and we're always happy to help you guys out with that.
Appreciate that. All right. So getting to know colleges.
Can I actually say one more thing about the college search? Sorry. In the Big Future search, they actually added a feature that I love. They added a feature where we talk a lot about finding a good match, a safety school, reach schools. You're going to hear those terms quite a bit. In the Big Future search, they now have a button that when you hit it, you can put in your GPA, a test score, whatever that gauge is, and it will automatically put safety, match, or reach on your colleges on the list that you're looking at. So it takes some of the guesswork out for you. I will say you still have to look into it because sometimes when I see what's a good match for a student and then I look at the actual classes the student has taken compared to what that college is looking for, sometimes it ends up being more of a safety school, but they do that preliminary sort of layer for you, so it's a little bit less guesswork. So that was always a lot of questions I'd get from students is, how do I know if it's a reach school or a safety school or a good fit? So that Big Future college search has taken a little bit of that guesswork away. So that's a new feature that they just added this year, so I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
That's awesome. So getting to know the colleges, right? What can you do? Okay, do you guys offer a college fair or do you have schools come in and? Okay, great. So you have college fairs. Great one that you can go to is the SNU one. They have a regional fair every fall. Okay, I think it's September, October, somewhere around that range, and you can go. Okay, I'm not sure. Do you guys bus students over to it?
We haven't this year, and that's because we don't have enough buses for our normal.
I gotcha.
So, we'll keep working on it.
All right, but you have the option of going there. You can talk to, over 100 schools, see what they have to offer, ask questions that you may not be able to ask. Maybe you're interested in Syracuse and you can't get out there. Maybe Syracuse is at that college fair. Go and see it, right? Go and ask them some questions. Maybe it will really confirm what you want, and then you can go out and visit it, okay? College admission reps come into your school, something that is offered here, okay? UNH has counselors come down. Students can come, meet with them, ask them questions. If your student's interested in UNH, maybe it's worth mentioning schools that you're interested to your counselors so that if they're setting up things, they can work with them on that, okay? And then visiting campus. I think visiting campus is huge, but I think that, you can go for an info session, a tour, an open house. They have a lot of different options. My biggest pieces of advice when it comes to campus tours is if you start doing this between junior and senior year, right? You say, okay, during the summer we have some time, we'll sit down, we'll drive, we'll go see a bunch of different campuses. That's what I did. I went to, 4 or 5 different ones during my summer break, okay? But what I would recommend is once you start narrowing down your list, right, and you get a top 3 schools, go and visit the schools during the academic year. You get a much better sense of what the school is like than you do if you go during the summer when there are limited students on campus, right? If you go when there's kids on campus, you can maybe eat in the dining hall. You can see, where the bigger hangouts are. Do kids eat in the dining hall or do they eat at the little places off campus or spread around campus? Maybe if you're interested in athletics, go talk to the coach, go see a sporting event. But make sure that when you go, you're asking good questions. Last thing you need to do is go to a school and say, well, do you offer business? I mean, I'm sure probably every school out there offers a business degree, but you want to make sure that you're asking questions because it also is kind of an informal interview with a mission counselor or a tour guide, right? They know that you're here They know that you're interested, and they want to make that connection, right? They want to help you in this process. Okay, build your list. So as Denise was saying about Big Future, how it helps with the different types of schools, I really have issues with this word. Battery school, a safety school. There's the safety school. Okay, and the reason why is because I think that every school on your list should have 2 or 3 reasons as to why you would want to go there and could see yourself there. Sometimes I see students that put down, oh, well, I'm just going to put down MCC because if I don't get anywhere else, I'm just going to go there. Do you like MCC? Are you going to be happy there? You're going to be spending 2 years there. You want to make sure that there are positives as to why you put it on your list. Okay? We kind of go through a 2-2-2 approach, right? What's that reach? What's that target? What's that safety school? If you have more, that's fine. Do you guys go through how many are a good a match, or is that kind of per student as to what they want? Per student. I've helped students that have applied to 30 different schools. Okay? Was a long process when it comes to the FAFSA, but that's what she wanted, that's what we did. Okay? It's like she said, it's up to the student, but if you can, get to that 6 school mark and you can see yourself at each one, you can say, okay, this is why I like this one. And then you have a way to work it down, right? You can start with 6, you start with 30, and work your way down to 1, okay? I mentioned costs, the financial aid piece. What kind of financial aid does the school offer? A lot of times you can go out and you can see what the school may offer you by using what's called a net price calculator. All schools have them. You can go out if you're interested in how much it could be to go to Keene State. You're writing Keene State, net price calculator, it's going to pop up, and it's going to give you an estimate. Biggest thing when it comes to financial aid, when you're doing it with the college search, is do not focus on the sticker price, okay? I can go out to any website and say, okay, Harvard's going to cost me 80 grand to go there a year. I can go out to UNH and say it's going to cost me, 40 grand to go there a year, okay? Maybe 3% of the students that go to those institutions are paying that sticker price. What you really want to focus on is the net price, and that's what the net price calculator is going to give you. It's going to give you an estimate as to what you could potentially be paying if you were to attend that school. It asks for your grades, it asks for family finances, and it gives you an estimate depending on all of that. You kind of see here need-based versus merit aid. Okay, I'll give you an example. UNH is the merit-based school. They're going to give you a scholarship based on your high school GPA. Okay? You have a 4.0, you're going to get their top scholarship. Top scholarship at UNH is maybe $9,000, maybe $10,000. Okay? It's a merit-based school. It's based on your GPA. Once you do the FAFSA, the financial aid forms, anything else you may need is need-based aid. There are some schools that require what's called the CSS profile. The CSS profile is an additional financial aid form that's located at College Board, okay? And the schools that typically require the CSS profile are schools trying to meet your financial need. So if you have a high financial need, these types of schools are trying to meet that need. So if Tufts costs, Harvard costs $80,000 to go to a year, and my financial need is high, let's say I have a student aid index, which is the number that comes from the FAFSA, is 0. Tufts is trying to find as much money to fill that gap as possible if I get accepted there. Okay? So are there benefits of looking at a need-based school? Yeah. But there's also benefits of looking at a merit-based school. If you're a really great student, look at a merit-based school. You might get a really nice scholarship. Need-based schools probably won't offer you merit-based. So it's not based on your GPA. It's strictly based on financial need. Okay? Okay, deadlines. Deadlines are really important in both the application process and the financial aid process. So we'll kind of talk about the different types of admission types, but in order to keep track, what we recommend is a spreadsheet, right? Write down the schools you're interested in, okay? Write down what their application deadlines is and how you are applying, which we'll talk about on the next slide, okay? Write down the application deadline. What's the financial aid deadline for FAFSA? Does the school require the CSS profile? Yes, no. What's that deadline? Because if you miss a deadline for admission, you may not get in, right? If you miss a deadline for financial aid, you might miss out on some financial aid you may be eligible for. You want to make sure that you're hitting those deadlines so you're eligible for the most amount of things. Okay? Admission types. So when you go out to apply, schools offer a lot of different things. Okay? I'm going to start down here, kind of work my way up, because usually your earliest is early decision, ED. Okay? It is the only binding contract out there. So I can only apply to one school, ED. So if I go out and I say, okay, I'm going to apply to Tufts University, ED, I'm basically saying that I am going to Tufts if I get accepted there. Okay? Everything else is non-binding, which means you have until May 1st to make your decision, or you have till the deadline that they give you when you get accepted. Okay? What I will say is early action is a nice option. Early action allows that school, it tells the school, hey, I am really interested, but I also want to make the decision on my own time, right? I want to see the financial aid first. I want to make sure it works for my family's finances, okay? If we go up to regular admission, same thing. Later deadline, but you apply regular admission. Again, if you get accepted, non-binding, which means you have until May 1st to make that decision. Rolling admission, great example of rolling admission would be a community college level. You can apply to a community college at any point. Also non-binding, depends on when you want to start. If you're doing 7-week terms, you have 7 different options. If you're doing 2 semesters, you obviously have your fall and your spring. Okay. Application options, I'm going to focus in on the Common App and school specific. Okay, Common App is a really nice option. Okay, you have 10 schools you're interested in applying to. All of them are on the Common App. Do the Common App. It's one application, okay, where you can list everything, and you're basically sending all that information to the schools by doing one app. Okay. Maybe you get an email. Maybe you go and visit. You get an email from Plymouth State saying, "Hey, you visited. You're lucky enough to get a fee waiver, right?" And you can apply to Plymouth through their Panther app, which is their school-specific app, at no cost to you. You can apply to Plymouth State during I Am College Bound, which is an event we host with the school counseling office. Okay, but if you miss that day, you have the option of still doing it if you visited. Okay. Are there benefits of doing one over the other? I think that the Common App allows you to give more information. Okay, more information about your activities, more information about any work experience you have. More experience, it allows you to put the essay right in. It allows your school counselors to send out the letters of recommendation. It's a really nice option. It opens on August 1st, okay? And they will help you with that. There are fee waivers available. Okay, what is needed when it comes to the college app? Okay, we're kind of going to go around clockwise. Biggest one, high school transcript, right? They want to see what those grades look like, what kind of classes you've taken. Have you taken any AP classes? What's that GPA look like? Okay. College essay. Most schools are going to ask for a college essay. The big takeaway from me when it comes to the college essay is do not tell people what you think they want to hear. Tell them who you are. They want to know about you. They want to know if you're going to be a good fit to the school. They want to know who you are personally. They don't want to know who the fake person is trying to impress them. Be true to yourself, be you, and talk about something in your college essay. There's about 7 or 8 different prompts on the Common App that you can choose to write about. Do you guys do any work with them, like through English classes and things like that? Okay. So you guys are going to get a lot of assistance when it comes to the college essay. Okay. We also offer summer programming for the college essay in case you want a little bit of additional support. We offer it virtually or in person. Extracurricular activities. Put as many down as you can, right? You babysit your brother and sister every Tuesday, Thursday. Put that down. Shows leadership. Shows that you can, take care of responsibilities. You're a responsible young adult. Maybe you have done I was actually working with a student here doing one of their common apps for I Am College Bound. And he's an avid skateboarder. Put it down. Okay, maybe they have a club. Maybe that's something that shows that they do have interests outside of school. So I do think that extracurricular activities are important. There's 10 different areas on the Common App that you can fill in. So don't be afraid to fill them in. What I will say is don't just join clubs to join clubs. Join clubs that are meaningful to you, right? If you think it's important, put it on your Common App. Okay, letter of recommendation. Letter of recommendation is either going to come from a school counselor, a professor, or a teacher, okay? Maybe you had a really good internship with, a police department, and you want your boss or your supervisor to do that. That's a great supplemental letter of recommendation. Most of the time, you're going to see them come with your school counselor or teacher, okay? And then the last one is the one that fluctuates the most, in my mind, is your SAT and ACT scores, okay? When we talk about the SAT or ACT, during COVID, a lot of schools turned and flipped to test optional, okay? A lot of them did not flip back to requiring it. A lot of them kept it as test optional, right? What's the difference? Test optional, a lot of times, if you submit it and it reaches a tier to where you could potentially get more money, it's going to benefit you. If you submit it and it doesn't, you just miss out on that merit scholarship. It doesn't negatively affect you in any way. You just don't get that additional merit scholarship. Test blind, they're not going to look at your scores at all, okay? Whether you send them in, you don't send them in. And then text flexible, you kind of get to choose what you want to send in. Do you have AP scores? Do you have a really great SAT score? The schools kind of let you decide. All of this information is out at the schools. If you're a first-time freshman, go out to the websites. They have what the admission requirements are out there. What's the GPA you need? What's the SAT score you need? And they'll kind of explain that to you, and every school is going to be different. Okay, additional things to consider. I kind of, pulled the group earlier, but things to keep in mind outside of the traditional college application. Auditions. Are you trying to do theater? Are you trying to be a performer? Are you trying to be a musician? Are you trying to be a singer? Are there auditions? Are they in person? Okay, do you need to, if you're looking at Juilliard, do you have to go there to get in, right? Do you have to go there to do your performance? Portfolios, if you're looking to be an art student, a lot of times what I will say is look and see if they have portfolio workshops on their website. They're typically hosted by the people that will be reviewing your portfolio and your college application, and they will give you kind of tips on what they look for when accepting students. Okay? They'll also explain, how many pieces you have to submit. If you're doing film, how long are the clips that you need to submit? And then if you're looking to play a sport. If you're looking to play a sport, I'd really suggest going out to the Eligibility Center at ncaa.org. This is a lot for, I would say go and look even if you're interested in Division III, but Division I and Division II, if you're looking to play at that level, you need to register with the Eligibility Center. It is mandatory, it is required. It'll show you the classes that you need to take, what that process looks like, when you can and can't reach out to a coach, when a coach can or cannot reach out to you. So there is a lot of really good material out here to use. We also have our athletics book. If you didn't see it at the front, you can grab that, and that will give you a little bit of additional resources as well. Okay, students take the lead. As I said, do not be afraid to ask questions, but also do not be afraid to be a part of this process. I joke with my mom a lot, being in the field that I am. My mom did a lot for me when I was in high school, like high school going to college, okay? She did all of my FAFSAs, okay? And I joke with her now that I wish I was a part of that. I wish I knew what I was getting into, right? I was fortunate enough that she helped me through a lot of things. So my advice to you is make sure that you as the student are a part of the conversation, not just academically, but financially as well. You should be the one calling and asking about your application. Working in admission, I'd get phone calls from parents all the time saying, I'm checking on the status of our application. It's not an hour, It's the students. It's the students that's going to be going away to college. It's the students that could potentially be using loans to fund the cost of their education. Okay, so make sure that you're asking the questions. You're talking to admission. Admission counselors want to know you. If you're going to go to that school, they want to help you be as comfortable as possible. Okay? Denise hinted at it earlier, but we'll talk about it now, is the New Hampshire FAFSA mandate. So during the academic year of 24-25, okay, that will be when you guys are seniors, it is a requirement to complete the FAFSA, okay? I truly think is important to complete the FAFSA. You know, I get the question all the time, Sean, you know, my parents make too much money, I'm not going to do it. There are a lot of schools right now that will give you incentives just for completing the FAFSA. Plymouth State, Keene State, Colby Sawyer, NEC, 5 schools off the bat that give you money just for completing the FAFSA. You completed it by a certain date, you get $1,000. You went and visited campus, you get $500. Okay? I truly think it's important to do it the first year, and then if you don't get anything, don't do it. But to me, spending an hour during your year to do the FAFSA, and that's the first year. After that, it's going to take a half an hour. Okay? An hour out of your year to get $1,000, $4,000 over the next 4 years, to me, I think it's worth it, right? Less that you have to take out on a loan, less that you have to pay back. So don't be afraid to do it at least for that first year. If after that first year you get nothing, you're not using the student loan, don't do the FAFSA, okay? I do think this is important, okay? This will, like I said, come into effect 24-25. What I will say to you all is if you didn't pick up the how to create an FSA ID, which was on this table over here to do it. The biggest, anybody here have older children in college? So if you have children in college right now, you probably are familiar with what's called the EFC, Estimated Family Contribution. That's that number that financial aid offices use to determine a student's financial aid eligibility. I mentioned SAI earlier. SAI is going to be the new term for EFC. So moving forward, if you have never done the FAFSA before, this is all going to be new to you anyway, right? SAI is what you're going to hear, okay? If you do have older children, it's going to may be a little confusing. Don't hesitate to come see us. But in order to complete your financial aid form, you have to create what is called a Federal Student Aid ID, an FSA ID, okay? That's what the form up here talks about. You need to have that in place and verified, which takes about 3 to 4 days before you sit down and do the FAFSA. So you can go out right now and do the FSA ID so that you're prepared come the fall, or you do it a week before you decide to do your FAFSA. Okay, but you just want to make sure that you are getting that done so that you can complete the FAFSA, right? If one of your schools has a FAFSA deadline of November 1st, you want to make sure that by November 15th, to give yourself enough time, that you're doing your FSA ID so that you have 3 or 4 days to wait, and then you can do your FAFSA. Don't wait until the last minute. There is still a lot of information to come on this mandate. You'll get updates from school counselors. You'll get updates from us at NEEF via your school counselors. So don't be afraid to ask questions. If they don't know, they're going to reach out to us. They know about as much as we know at this point, okay? And then summer programming, what we have to offer. So we do offer, as I mentioned, the summer essay workshops, and then we offer statewide seminars. Looking to do one for athletics, we do one for financial aid, we do one for applying to college, which is basically what you've just watched. So don't be afraid to go out to our website to see what our different types of publications are, the different types of events that we host. I think this is a big one. If you're not doing anything on March 25th, make a trek up to Plymouth State. It is a free event for all New Hampshire students and families. Okay? We offer workshops. You want to be a college athlete. You want to talk to a financial aid panel. You want to talk to students who are currently living the college life. You want to talk about resources that are available to you. You want to talk about college application deadlines in more depth. We offer all those workshops. Hopefully Denise will be in with us on that, so you'll get to say hi to her. We also offer a college fair. right? You can come and talk to 60, 70 colleges at once, right? See what they have to offer. Get a lot of really good information to start that process, okay? And we offer a tour of Plymouth State. So you get 3 big things all in one day, okay? It's a great resource for you. It allows you to prepare and start, that college search process, start visiting schools. And another thing is, say you go on a tour at Plymouth State. You say nothing, right? You're like, this is brand new to me. It's overwhelming. Just listening to the other questions that families are asking may help. It may help when you go to that next school that you really want to attend, okay? Don't be afraid to just go, listen, enjoy the day, and understand what that process looks like so that it helps you and benefits you when you start that college search on your own. Right? And then the last thing I'll give to you is U-Science. Okay, this is something that we offer. It's basically a career assessment, right? We're trying to take your hobbies, your interests, and turn it into something that you could potentially make a career out of. Okay, you sit down with a couple of my coworkers. They'll go over, these. I hate using the word test because it's not a test. It's just an assessment, right? About what you're good at. What majors are you good at? What classes are you good at in high school? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And it'll turn around and it will hopefully match you with some different types of majors so that you can do additional research on those as well. Right? And then I'll just open it up if anyone has any questions. And I know it's been about an hour and I just threw a lot of information at you. So if you don't have questions, this is all the ways to contact us. If you feel more comfortable asking questions on a one-on-one, I'll be over here, when we finish. If you'd rather contact us, you can set up a meeting to kind of go over different options you may have, exploring those options after high school. Or if you just have general questions, one-off questions, give us a call, send us an email. We'll help however we can. But I appreciate you all for coming. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for 10 minutes or so.
So a couple of quick follow-up pieces. For your students here at Goffstown, they are actually allowed 4 days each semester to miss and be excused from classes to go visit college campuses or do anything with job shadowing or anything like that. So if you do want to take the trip out and see Syracuse after you get some more information about it, go for it and do that and know that you are excused. It's not going to count towards those attendance points that everybody fears. We totally take care of that. You can either give the office the confirmation email from your from setting up your tour. Most of the time you get some type of a parking stub when you are on campus, so even that. So anything that just sort of proves that you were on the campus for the day, we will excuse your classes for that day. Yeah.
Most schools, if you ask the admission office, they have letters available.
Oh, perfect.
And they'll just write, yep, they were here for a campus tour on this day so that you can give that to the school when you come back.
Yeah, I like to add that because I don't feel like a lot of students realize that you do get 4 whole days, and it's each semester that you get it, because you may do one tour in the fall, be accepted, and then want to go back as an accepted student and kind of get that viewpoint of your college, because that does tweak your perspective a little bit, where it's not a what if anymore, it's a ho, this could really be. So you definitely sometimes take a couple different tours. The other thing I just wanted to highlight in terms of the FAFSA, the first F in FAFSA is free. So you take an hour to fill out a free application and get paid $1,000 from a college. I'm sorry, that's like a no-brainer to me. I don't get paid $1,000 an hour ever. I don't know many people that do. So I think that was some great advice to at least do it for that first year, see how it looks and works out, and then sort of make the determination moving forward if you continue with the FAFSA. But yeah, a free application you can get money for. That just is a little too good to be true. But yeah, if you've got any questions, we'll both be up here for a few extra minutes, so feel free to come up or reach out to your student's specific school counselor if you have some more particulars about them. But thank you everybody for attending. We love seeing your faces out here and appreciate your time.